Okay, so it's a few days later now, and I went ahead with the trailer because it was getting a little bit frustrating, and I was trying to figure out how to do the suspension. It was giving me issues. And what we got now is we've got our leaf springs mounted in exactly the way that I said I would do them. But in order to get the height that I wanted on the wheels so that they sit inside of the wheel arches, I had to make a couple of some like axle hanger type plates. We can see them very well there, so they're bolted and fixed with the axle running through them. So okay, we've got a bit of movement in the wheels here. I've got to mount them properly because I don't want these axles to be fixed. If this is going around corners and the outside's going further than the inside on the corner, then they'll probably come undone. So I'm going to figure out a hub so that I can actually bend these axles up higher or wherever, out of the way, or have them shorter, so the wheels turn independently. But for now it'll be okay. Get you down, get the camera down to have a look and see at what this looks like. So right now, yeah, the tyres are touching, so I'm going to make a little bit of an adjustment on that, but not too much, because when there's just a little bit of weight they separate like that, and then it's in a good position, and there's plenty of flex and freedom for them to move inside of those arches, look. Which is exactly what I was after. If I put my truck on there, like so, there it is. I've got to beef my trailer up. I haven't finished it. I've got to do all the trimmings and do the wheel arch and all that sort of stuff. But for now, we're where we're at. And where's that pair of pliers I had there? There's a pair of pliers there somewhere. There they are. Just as a little wheel demo. Sorry, being a bit crap with the camera here. Check that out. That's cool, isn't it? I like it. That's the back of the trailer finished. Nice little turn down on the end there just to help with the wheels rolling up a bit. Bit of trim around the edge. I've got to glue those on yet, but I'll hold off on doing that until I'm completely satisfied. Now we're started bending up the tow bar assembly. This is a bit of solid bar, so a bit of strength to it. And that's going to sit just inside there like that. So I've kind of jigged it all out, marked it out on this board on my worktop here for that towing chassis. It'll give it a bit of strength as well up front. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this turn up to meet the height of the truck, so that I don't want a really low hanging tow bar, just because it eliminates the ground clearance that you've got built into your truck. So I'm going to have this turn up to meet the height of the tow bar, and then I'm going to thread a little bar in the end, put a little steering socket ball joint thing, so that I've got the socket on here, and then the little ball end goes on mounts on the back of the truck somehow. So do that in a minute. I've got to figure out where that's going to go on the truck so I know how much to bend this up, gooseneck this up to meet the truck then. So we'll figure that out now. Well, I keep getting sidetracked off of this, but we're getting there slowly. I've done a few bits and pieces. Just move some of this crap out of the way here because I'm organised like that for the old videoing. Right, so I made a tow bar. This is like a tow bar hanger, and I plan to use the got the ball joint and socket from like a steering rod arm, track rod arm. But what I'll do is I'll stretch that a little bit so that it just goes on there nicely without snapping on too hard, so I can get it off easier. But that's going to hang on the back side of the truck. In there, sort of going around my winch. Look. Hopefully you can see this. I wanted to tuck it in. I didn't want it hanging out here, so I didn't want to run into ground clearance issues. Like if it's out there, your ground clearance is drastically reduced to sort of this angle. But if I tuck it in here, which makes no odds at all, it doesn't affect anything, you know, past where the bumper comes, really. So, happy with that. I'm going to mount that in a minute. I've drilled right through it. I'm going to put 2 bolts straight through this back rail that's already got holes in it. And once I've got that in position, so that I know where the height of it comes, I'll then what have I done with that? I'll then bend the towing framework before I mount it to the trailer. I've got a piece of bar here, so I'm going to thread that into that, and then I'm going to thread that onto that. Shove it up a bit tighter, maybe. Stop it looking so flimsy. It's not really scale. I want to get a bigger one, get some bigger ball joints, but for the time being this will do the job. It'll be strong enough, it just doesn't look very scale. So that will go on there like so. So I'm going to mount that now. Back in a second. Here we go, look. There's my tow frame mounted. I knew it was a good idea to run this ply so I can screw into it. Got my towing eye on there. I'll just thread lock that on there, stop it from twisting and moving around a bit. Like I say, I'm going to replace that for a bigger one if I can. Got my wheels working. I found some little hex adapter inserts so that my wheels now turn independent, so there's less risk of them getting undone as it's driving around. What I might do is have a little tie down or something just to limit how much these come up, because they can touch each other. And when there's weight on them, they don't do that. They sit quite nicely. I've made them specifically so that they just sit sort of middle of the road for the weight of a truck perhaps, and of course now they turn independent, so pretty pleased with that. All I've got to do now is make some wheel arches and some tie down points, front and rear, hold the truck in position, or whatever's going to go in there. Going to make the wheel arches out of this checker plate. It's going to be tricky though, just trying to fix them. I don't know whether to run them down inside and kind of sit them on top. It's how am I going to fix them either way. I think I'll probably run them down inside and then araldite them, glue them on there or something like that. It wants to be pretty sturdy because trucks are going to be driving over them on and off the trailer. but we'll see what we want to do. I'll have a play around with it, see how it goes. Chuffed to bits though. And of course the tow bar on the truck. There she is, mounted inside. The winch still happens, still works nicely through that. And then I've got my ball joint there, and that's of course mounted to the chassis there. So it's pretty sturdy, you can pick the truck up by it. And of course I've made a little bend in the towing frame, so that when it's sat on the floor, it's got clearance. I'll probably make a little tool chest or something to go on here, so I can keep all the tie down straps in, bits and pieces like that. Maybe some spare wheel nuts, because I don't doubt that they'll probably fall off at one point at some stage. So a little checker plate toolbox, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? It's going alright, it's going good. Now man, I wasn't going to do a bit of video until I'd finished, but this is just cracking me up. It looks cool, man. Check it out. Wheel arch. I'm going to lose that bit though, because it's fouling the wheel. And here she is, look, all done.